The first question is, data mining is commonly applied in banking industry through credit ratings and to intelligent anti-fraud systems to analyze transactions, card transaction, purchasing patterns, and customers' financial data, etc. The process of data mining involves sequential execution of steps for its implementation. Discuss the steps involved in the process. First, I want you guys to know that just because this question has banking term here, don't start thinking that this belongs to chapter 5. Don't tune your mind that, okay, banking means it is CBS chapter 5. And then you'll start thinking of the portions under chapter 5. You will not find the answer there. This is data mining. Okay, this is data mining. It comes in the previous chapters. So let us discuss the steps in data mining. It's a very important question for your exam and for your interview perspective also. Nowadays, we know companies are investing a lot in data mining. As the name suggests, mining means, like digging for data or, storing data in such a way that for future use, I can access it. So data mining is very important as a concept that we all should be aware of. So the first step would be data integration. Okay, now think about it. Data mining, say you are the class representative and your teacher has given you a task that, let's say Mansi is the class representative. The teacher is telling Mansi, I want you to collect the information of all the students, their name, their parents' name, their height, weight, their marks in English, Hindi, mathematics, science, social studies. I want the aggregate of all the marks. I want their address, right? So I want all this information in one single place, at one single place, right? So what Mansi does is she kind of gets all these information from the relevant places. Maybe she can get the marks from some database that the school is maintaining. Maybe she can get the blood group and the name, phone number, and all that from an other database that the school has also been maintaining. So she needs to kind of like put these two source documents together and pull the information into one single sheet where she needs to present her data, right? So first, integrate it from different formats. Maybe Mansi can also go on to Facebook and check the date of birth from Facebook for all the students, right? So pull out the data from wherever you can. It could be flat files. Flat files means paper format. It could be in a paper format. You take information from there. It could be from relational database. Like I told you, the school maintains several databases from where they have so many information. You kind of fill all that information into one single place. Data warehouse or web means hi, Jenny. Please put it on. Okay, Jenny's on mute. Hi, Ikra. Yes. Awesome.
Hi, ma'am.
So first you integrate the data from multiple places. Now, please remember what to write under these points. It's going to be you collect the data from flat files, from the web. It could be from LinkedIn or from Facebook or wherever, right? Or from relational databases. The school, not necessary, school has all the information in one single database. They could have it in different types, different formats. So from relational database, you gather all the information. This first step is known as, yes, Yogesh, what is the first step known as? Type it on the chat box, guys, or tell it to me in the live session. We're going to have an interactive one this class. Type it on the chat box or data integration. Yes, Yogesh, are you clear? It is data integration. Awesome. Next point. Once you integrate all this data, you select what is it that you need and you omit what you do not require. Okay, so for example, the information that Mansi has collected, it also has a certain field saying, whether the child has opted for home lunch or school lunch. Okay, whether the child eats in the canteen at the school or gets home food. So Mansi does not want that information because her teacher has not asked her for that information. So what she's going to do is she is going to select the required data. So let's read under that. It may be possible that all the data collected may not be required in the first step. So in this step, we select only those data which we think is useful for data mining. Third, data cleaning. Okay, so say Mansi has collected a little bit of data from, say one column is interest and hobbies. She's collected little bit data from Facebook, little bit from Instagram, and a little bit from LinkedIn. Right now, everything will be in some different format. The interest and hobbies will be in a different format. For example, under the interest and hobbies, it will be first about myself. I am so and so. I work here. I study here. I am interested in A, B, and C. I'm interested in swimming, cricket, and music. Right. So Mansi is going to select only swimming, cricket, and music. She does not want all the other information that is around that text. So she's going to clean that data up. Data cleaning, cleaning up the data. So first, we have data integration. Next, we have select what you need, omit what you don't need. Third is clean up your data into a standard format. And for example, data cleaning also means that date of birth. Jenny's date of birth could be in MMDDYY format. My date of birth could be in MMDD format, right? So it can't be inconsistent with each other. So what Mansi has to do is make the data very consistent throughout, so that it is easy for anyone to filter, to understand, to apply any logical formulas and all of that. So data cleaning. Number one, data integration, data selection, data cleaning. Data transformation. This is a very important step, guys. Data transformation, it means that even after cleaning, it's not necessary that the data is ready. For example, in English, what are the marks for periodic test 1, periodic test 2? What is the marks in your annual exam, in your pre-boards, boards, whatever? Okay, so there could be so many English marks, but the teacher wants only the average English marks. So she's going to apply some techniques for transforming that data and getting what only she wants. Okay, so for example, techniques like smoothing, aggregation, normalization. Let us understand what is smoothing. Smoothing, as you can understand by the word, removing the noise from the data. In case the data is too clumsy, it has too many text, too many fields, it has some additional brackets that I don't want. So I remove all of that from my data and I keep only what I need. So smoothing of data, you may say that, ma'am, that gets covered in data cleaning itself. Why do we have data transformation? I want you to understand data transformation is one step ahead of data cleaning, where you use certain techniques like aggregation also. Aggregation means providing the sum or the average of particular things. For example, for a sales manager, he needs to understand what is the sales made in Chennai, what is the sales made in Bangalore, Madurai, Trichy, in Hyderabad. He wants to understand sales as per city. So if he has so much of information, he's going to apply some aggregation techniques, club them all together and get one figure, get one number. So that is aggregation. There are any doubts here? Smoothing, aggregation. You need to write all these words in your answer. You need to write all these. It forms a part of the key. So we have smoothing, we have aggregation, and fifth one is data mining. Now the question is also data mining, steps in data mining, and one of the steps is also data mining. Okay. So in this, the actual mining techniques are applied to discover interesting patterns. For example, the class is very good in English because their average is very high. Yeah, so I make some sort of a pattern or a graph. My sales have been excellent in the state of Karnataka, right? I need to work out for more sales in Tamil Nadu, right? So I can have some techniques that I can apply on the data. Clustering, association analysis are few of the data mining techniques. So here we have very briefly touched upon 5 techniques. I want you to remember the words. Under transformation, we have done smoothing, aggregation, and normalization. Smoothing, aggregation, normalization. Under mining, we have done clustering and association analysis. Clustering and association. Clustering means forming clusters. All the people in Chennai, one cluster. All the people in Bangalore, another cluster. So clustering, association analysis. Association analysis could be some variable. People under the age of 15 who stay in a metro city. People under the age of 15 who stay in a non-metro city, right? So there could be some kind of association analysis that I can apply. So that is actually data mine. Finally, we have pattern evaluation and knowledge presentation. So after you've done all your mining techniques, what you got to do is you got to present the information in a readable format to your teacher, in the case of Mansi, or to your manager. And what the manager will do with that report that you give? Decision making. So this is the final step in data mining, making decisions. So this is the end goal. We do all of this hoo-ha, hoo-ha to reach at this last step, which is decision making. This step helps user to make use of the knowledge required to take better decisions, to take better informed decisions. DJY is a brand in the field of online supplier of kids clothing. As we know that risks associated with e-commerce transactions are high as compared to general internet activities, what do you think are the risks that the firm is addressing due to its online transactions? Risk related to e-commerce transactions. Chapter number 4. This forms in chapter number 4. Now, this answer has a lot of general points. So you can tell me the points that you experience as a user when you buy anything online, or maybe some of you here are even sellers on e-commerce platform, right? Maybe you use, you could be a home baker, or you could have a business from home, or you could have a business from elsewhere where you use e-commerce to transact, right? So in these two cases, what are the risks that you face as a user and as a seller? Can you come up with those risks and tell me so that we can, put on our thinking caps? Tell me the risks that you face while shopping online.
Duplication.
Duplication means duplication of what?
Product name or color.
Yeah, maybe sometimes I want to buy something else, but something else comes off. Okay. Yeah. Next, anything else that you can think of?
Quality
issues. Yeah, same thing. Quality issues. Sometimes it looks like when I see online, I see this glass, and then when I buy it, it comes out to be a size which is only so small, because in the picture they would have put up a zoomed picture. So quality. Yeah. Next.
Internet access.
Come on. Internet access, don't see the answer and tell me, okay? Internet access means that I may not have the internet access to actually go online and shop. Yeah, internet access could be a problem. Anything else? Think, anything else? So many other things.
Data theft.
Data theft. Yeah, some people posting all the information. It could be stolen. It could be even edited by some hackers. Data theft. Anything else? You have your security fraud, which means when you put your card details, you're scared it could be stolen or misused, right? What else can happen? Denial of service. Sometimes on a few websites, say ICI website or banking website, when we log in, due to the excess weight or some reason, the website does not respond. It says page not found. We've come across that. And when it comes like 3-4 times, we get irritated and we move on to some other website. Say, for example, I want to buy something on Amazon and it says page not found, page not found. After 2-3 times, I'll feel like, no, I don't want to go here. Let me go and buy on Flipkart.
It also shows out of stock.
Out of stock, and also it shows, yeah. Okay. Anything else? Any other thing that you want to share? Say, for example, I've gone to visit my grandmother who stays in a small village in Karnataka called Raichur. And over there, they say delivery not possible. So infrastructure is also a problem when it comes to e-commerce, right? Infrastructure is also a problem in case of no proper connection of roads, railways, then the goods may not reach me. So I think we've covered most of the points in this answer. I want you to know that the question is risks in e-commerce. One is privacy and security. Privacy and security, everything is online, everyone can see it. So there is going to be some privacy and security issues. When I say this privacy and security, let me share one common fraud that used to happen a couple of years ago. When I used to go on to AXIS, accessbank.com, someone had created a page called AXES, AXESBANK.com, accessbank.com. So in that hurry, I may not be able to understand that there's a spelling mistake or this is not a trusted site. The entire site looks very similar to Axis Bank website. So, but that's not an authentic site. So when I click onto that link, it takes me to some AXES bank and it asks me for the user ID and password. As soon as it asks me for the user ID and password, the website, it closes because they have captured what they wanted. They wanted my net banking user ID and password. They've got that. So as soon as I enter that, they get that information and then they close the site. It just closes by itself. So privacy and security issues are always a major concern. Companies invest a lot of money in ensuring that their website is secure. Otherwise, they would lose customers, right? Quality issues, like you said, there could be quality issues, delay in goods and hidden costs. Sometimes they say that, iPhone at 5,000 rupees only, order now. But when I order, it comes ding dong, the bell rings and I, get so excited. My iPhone for 5,000 is coming. And then they give me a bill for 30,000. They say that, okay, the shipping cost is there and then this other cost or, something is added to this, some marketing cost and all that they add and they give me a big bill. When goods are ordered from another country, the shipment may be delayed due to port congestion, some custom clearances, and all these costs, we may not even know what it is. They will add that to our product. Delay in goods and hidden costs. So here 2 points are getting covered. One is delay in delivery. Okay, I'm ordering something, it's coming after 7 months. One is hidden costs. The price that I saw and ordered is much different than the actual price when it arrives in my house. We need internet access and personal touch. Again, over here also 2 points are being covered: internet access and lack of personal touch. Sometimes, are you guys comfortable in buying saris or jewelry online? Are you very comfortable?
Not jewelry.
Not really. Yeah, sometimes
jewelry, not online.
Yeah, you want to wear it, you want to touch it, feel it, you want to see how the sari looks on you, you want to see the color in sunlight, in daylight, in moonlight. Yeah, and only then make a purchase. So that lack of personal touch is missing when it comes to online transaction. Security and credit card issues, we have already discussed that. Infrastructure, expansion of road and railways, problems of anonymity. There is need to identify and authenticate users in the virtual global market where anyone can sell to or buy from anyone, anything from anywhere. Okay, so you don't know who you're buying from. You don't know if it's a genuine person or what. If he's a person who supplies quality goods, you don't know that. So problem of anonymity means you don't know that person. Repudiation of contract. Yeah, so when you buy something online, after you make the purchase, it's possible that they can say that, I'm sorry, we have denied this transaction. We cannot supply to you. Right? So in a real scenario, it is very, very difficult to deny a sale. But in an online, it is very easy to deny that, okay, I'm not going to supply this to you. Sorry. Lack of authenticity of transactions. Okay. The electronic documents that are produced during an e-commerce transaction may not be authentic and reliable. So some e-invoice that I get or e-receipt that I get, sometimes it may not be authentic and reliable. Data loss or theft or duplication of data. The data that is there can be lost or duplicated by another site. Attack from hackers. They have virus that they can denial of service, like what we discussed, out of order, or site has facing some shutdown issues, right? So all of that is known as denial of service, DOS, denial of service. It marks a very big thing on the reputation of the company. Non-recognition of electronic transactions. In court of law, people do not recognize electronic transaction. In the earlier days, now, of course, it has been recognized, but again, it's a challenge. Lack of audit trails. This is a very important point. Audit trail means tracing the transaction back to its origin. That can be difficult in an e-commerce transaction because there's so much of volume and the logs can be incomplete. Because of the volume and the logs being incomplete, it is very difficult to trace the transaction back to its origin. Problem of piracy. Piracy, all the movies, serials, all the cracked version come on some other website. We can see it from there also without paying. So piracy is always a problem. Clear? So we've discussed nearly 15 points. We've discussed 15 points. Now I want each one of you to tell the points to yourself. And if you're able to remember around 10 points, type a clap in the chat box. Type a clap in the chat box if you're able to remember 10 points at least. Easy points. The question is, what are the risks in an e-commerce transaction? 10 points if you're able to recollect by yourself. Type a clap in the chat box. Otherwise, you can type still thinking in the chat box. Very good, Jenny. Yes, Ikra, Mansi, are you able to remember 10 points?
No, ma'am, 8 points.
8, okay. Let me tell you one more. Lack of audit trail. Yeah, let me tell you one more. Authentic transaction. Problem of anonymity. Yeah.
Can you explain that point again? Maybe I have missed that.
Okay. Yeah, let us see the points once again. Yeah. Infrastructure is also 1 point. Yeah, let us quickly see all the points again. Privacy and security. So privacy is 1 point. Piracy is another point. You know the difference between privacy and piracy? Yeah. So 2 points like this. Privacy, piracy. Okay. And then quality issues and delay in goods, hidden costs. Quality issues, delay in goods, hidden costs. Third is need access to internet and infrastructure. Then there could be credit card issues. I don't know who I'm dealing with. Problem of anonymity. Repudiation of contract. They can cancel that contract. They may not supply to me. Repudiation of contract. Lack of authenticity of the transactions. The transactions, like sometimes the documents that are generated during an e-commerce may not be authentic. It's not some fake invoices they may give to me. So lack of authenticity of the transactions. Data loss or duplication or theft of data. Hackers, important point, attack from hackers. And then denial of service. This is a very important point, denial of service. Non-recognition in the court of law, non-recognition of e-commerce transaction in the court of law, lack of audit trails, and piracy. Question 4, Miss Anita, a final year student of UG course, had to submit a project report in PDF format. She initially prepared her report in MS Word and used some online software from Google to edit the photos used in her assignment. And then for her final submission, she used the online PDF converter to convert her Word file into PDF. Identify the cloud computing service model that is being used by her and further discuss the model's different instances. Please understand the last line. Identify the cloud computing service model that Anita is using and further discuss the model's different instances. Yeah. Do you guys want to give a shot at what is the model that she's using, Anita? Cloud computing service model, we have 3 models: infrastructure as a service, platform as a service, software as a service. So we just saw what Anita is doing. She's using something called
as a service.
Yeah, very good. Software as a service is what she's using. Clear? So under software as a service, they want you to highlight what are the different instances. I want to show you from the study material where exactly this comes, okay?
For cloud computing.
Yeah, it comes in cloud computing. Yeah. I'm going to share my screen with you. Now here, if you can see my screen, all of you, instances of SaaS. So this small box is the question that they are asking. Okay, so do give a few lines on what is SaaS, SaaS, and then give the instances of SaaS. I also want you to understand that don't get confused with this box here. This is instances of infrastructure as a service, where you have certain components such as network as a service, then storage as a service, database as a service, backend as a service, desktop as a service. All this are related to infrastructural setups, right? So this will form instances under IaaS. Okay, we do not have anything under PaaS. Then we have something under software as a service, instances of software as a service. So under that, you have testing as a service, API as a service, and email as a service. Testing as a service, software testing capabilities. You have to generate some test data or get some results. Okay, so you can use this testing as a service. Next is API as a service. API as a service, you know the meaning of API, application programming interface, where it connects you to a different program and you can explore some functions of that other program. For example, how many of you have used Dunzo for delivery, or Swiggy or Zomato? I'm sure everyone, all of us have used it, right? So when you go on to Swiggy or Dunzo, it takes you to the map. Do you think that Swiggy and Dunzo have built their own maps? They wouldn't spend time or waste time rather to do that. What they'll do is they'll just tell Google Maps, hey Google, listen, I'll pay you some fees. Please, you just give me your maps. I'll put it on my app. It's going to be useful for my customers. So please give me the link to your maps. As soon as they click on, find address, they will get connected to your maps. They do not have to go to Google Maps. Through my Dunzo app itself, they can connect to the Google Maps. So that is like establishing an API, application program interface, where I can link two programs together. Application programming interface. It's a very important technique, important tool. So if you have any doubts, please ask. Application programming interface. So API as a service. And third is email as a service. So I have my Gmail, right? I have my Gmail, and in that Gmail, I can have so many services such as, create folders, mark what mail is important, send that mail to some other software, right? So I can have so many features relating to email. So email as a service. So these are the instances of SaaS. Please, once you start writing the answer, please read the question twice. The cloud computing service model used by Anita is software as a service. The different instances are as follows: testing, API, and email as a service. So moving on to our third question. Let me give you a heads up before we do the third question. It's a little difficult to understand and remember this third question. So let us try and do this together. The processing subsystem of any application software. is responsible for computing, sorting, classifying, and summarizing the data. Take, for example, Ola or your Adobe Photoshop. So this application software, the processing subsystem, not the software itself, the processing subsystem of the software, which means the brain of the software, is responsible for doing many activities. Okay, we know that. The processor controls of the application software are responsible to reduce the losses from errors and irregularities associated with the processor, central processor. Discuss these controls. So see, first, the computer has a brain, which is known as the CPU. And all these people who live in the computer, Excel, my Ola, Uber, my Google Chrome, all these people, all these softwares have their own brain. So now this main brain is known as CPU, central processor, and this brain is known as processing subsystem. The brain of these people, such as Excel, Word, other apps on my Google Chrome, the brain of these softwares is known as the processing subsystem. So first, this brain needs to understand what is happening and communicate with the main brain, which is the central processing unit, CPU, and then process the data. So discuss the controls that are applicable for the processing subsystem. Okay, so first, you have to understand that the processor controls, first you need to detect what is the error that is coming. Okay, first you need to detect what is the error and what is the correction that is happening. So why errors can happen in any app? Errors can happen. Take, for example, your ICAI app on the day of the results. 2 days ago, yesterday, I believe, yeah, yesterday were the results. And that day, because of extra load on the server, it sometimes stopped working. So due to fatigue, due to some damage, due to manufacturing defects, due to error in coding, due to so many reasons, the application software may not work. So first find out what is the error. First find out what is the error. And now they're saying that it could be of 3 types. One is a transient error, which means if something happens, the page not found, third time it comes, the page comes off. So transient error, something that happens for a short period, and after some time, the software is working fine. How many of you have used the IRCTC app? That CAPTCHA is so confusing that leave alone a virus, even a human cannot decode that CAPTCHA. Okay, so when that certain times you enter, you feel that the CAPTCHA is correct, but it doesn't work. And on third or fourth try, it automatically works and takes you in. So transient errors means errors that occur for a very short period, comma, intermittent, that occur periodically. Time and again, this error is coming. Or permanent, that this error is there, it's not getting corrected. This error is there in the software, it's not getting corrected. So first you need to categorize your errors into, or your faults into 3 buckets. One is transient, one is intermittent, and one is permanent. Transient, intermittent, permanent. You can understand this as your CA foundation, inter, and final. Okay, for the transient and intermittent errors, retries and re-execution might be successful. But for permanent errors, the processor must halt and report the error. Sometimes that something happens to PowerPoint, it stops working, and then there's a dialog box which says that, do you want to report this to Microsoft? Yeah, if the dialog box doesn't come, how will Microsoft know how its software is performing? So that dialog box happens when some error happens in the system. So the system is smart enough to understand which situation that dialog box should come. So first is detect the error and what you can do to correct it. Clear? Point number 2 is multiple execution states. It is important to determine the number of and nature of the execution states enforced by the processor. This helps the auditors to determine which user processes will be able to carry out unauthorized activities, such as gaining access to sensitive data maintained in memory regions assigned to the operating system or other user processes. Okay, multiple execution states. What they're trying to say here is that execution states enforced by the processor. In how many tries is my app performing that activity? Okay, actually this point is not given very clearly here what it means. We'll come back to this. Okay, multiple execution states. Timing control. An operating system might get stuck in an infinite loop. In the apps, for example, my phone, I switch it on and it gets on and again it switches off. Again, I switch it on, again it gets switched off. So there could be an infinite loop. In the absence of any control, the program will retain use of processor and prevent other programs from undertaking their work. Yeah. So in case there is no control that is provided, I cannot do or work on other applications. Timing control. Component replication. In some cases, processor failure can result in significant losses. Redundant or duplicate processors allow errors to be detected and corrected. If process failure is permanent in multi-computer or multi-processor architecture, the system might reconfigure itself to remove the failed processor. Okay, I told you this question is tough. First is error detection and correction. Error detection and correction, easy point. Let's go to the third point, timing control. In case of an infinite loop, you cannot work on other softwares also. For example, Excel. Sometimes I find that my Excel screen has been stuck and I'm not able to move to the other windows. It's just stuck on Excel. I'm just not able to close that. I'm not able to minimize that. I'm not able to save that. Okay, I finally have to shut down my system. So in that case, this is the error that they're talking about. In that case, I cannot work on my other softwares. Component replication. So now processor failure can result in significant losses. Imagine my network is linked to 150 computers in the office. Now 150 computers, every screen Excel is stuck. Okay, in that case, there's going to be a huge loss. So what needs to happen is the computer needs to understand that it needs to reconfigure itself, remove that Excel coding and reinstall a new Excel software. So the term used is difficult, component replication, but this is the meaning. It needs to remove that bad software and reconfigure itself. Now coming to multiple execution states. Actually, I'm not able to quite understand what this multiple execution states means. If any of you have some idea, please enlighten me also. So can we remember 3 points from this thing? Processor controls. One is error detection and correction. Second is timing, the timing infinite loop, timing control. And third is component duplication, replication. Component replication. All right, so this was about the processor